The $1,200 stimulus check made its debut back in 2020, was very popular back then, very helpful. Now that we're in 2023, the $1,200 stimulus check could be making a comeback again. Lawmakers have introduced new legislation to give $1,200 checks to every single American, not just once, but on a regular monthly basis. Could this happen? When could it happen? Lawmakers want it to happen right away, right now in 2023. I'll give you the details on all of that. Bernie Sanders is pushing for Medicare for all, having one healthcare system, a single payer system where we don't have to worry about the vulnerable people not being able to pay for healthcare, or just having the healthcare system completely out of control as it is now. I'll let you know what Bernie Sanders wants out of this Medicare for all program. Now, Bernie Sanders also saying that the deal from the GOP is not a good deal when it comes to the debt ceiling. As we're just about 1 week away from the June 1st deadline, we still do not have a deal. There's negotiations going back and forth. President Biden saying that the GOP deal is not good today, Sunday, after his meeting with Republicans on a call, because right now he's in Japan. But I'll let you know what he says about that, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Let's start off with the news that could directly affect you as well as every American in this country. Stimulus check update: direct payment worth $1,200 could be sent to families under proposed legislation. So this is from Ilhan Omar, and this is a big deal. So if you're wondering who Ilhan Omar is, stimulus update, new proposal could give Americans monthly $1,200 checks. This is Ilhan Omar right here. So she voiced her opinion on supporting two proposals which could benefit millions of Americans. The first would provide an income floor for everyone in the face of inequality. Meanwhile, the second proposal would expand the child tax credit. So I'm just going to go over the first one, the $1,200 for everybody. So Omar said she will keep pushing for measures such as guaranteed income through legislative proposals such as the Support Act. The Support Act would send $1,200 checks every month to every adult and $600 per month to every child through local government via cash payments over a 5-year period. Let me know your thoughts on this. Would you be happy, on top of whatever else you're getting with Social Security or anything else, would you be happy with a $1,200 check every month for 5 years? And if you have any kids or dependents, looks like you could get an extra $600 per month for them. Is this good? Is this enough? This would be on a federal level, a universal basic income program on a federal national level. This bill builds on successful guaranteed income pilot programs we have seen in localities nationwide, including Minneapolis and St. Paul. So this is huge legislation here. Basically, Ilhan Omar introduced this into Congress. No vote yet. Haven't heard of anything, but also we really haven't heard of much going on in Congress because of the debt ceiling. Seems like almost everything else is put on pause until the debt ceiling, which is top priority, until that gets solved. I'll give you the update on that in a little bit. But also, Senator Bernie Sanders renews push for Medicare for all to end totally broken healthcare system. High healthcare costs can lead to financial strain for many individuals and families. Senator Bernie Sanders is pushing to change that with Medicare for all. I don't think there's anybody who would disagree that the healthcare system is completely broken, completely messed up. Anyone working in it, anyone experiencing it or close to it, thinks that the healthcare system is pretty much messed up, except for the people making huge profits out of it and that are at the top. But everyone else, I think, could agree. Well, what is the solution here? Well, Bernie Sanders says the current healthcare system in the United States is totally broken, it is totally dysfunctional, and it is extremely cruel. So basically, this proposal in the House, the proposal will have 112 co-sponsors, more than they ever have had at the introduction of a bill. And Medicare for All would create a single payer program which would allow one source to collect all healthcare fees and pay all healthcare costs. He also said this: "It is long overdue for us to end the international embarrassment of the United States being the only major country on earth that does not guarantee healthcare to all of its people. Now is the time for Medicare for All single payer program." What are your thoughts on that? Good idea, bad idea? I'm really curious what you think about that program. Also, Bernie Sanders has a lot of other things to say as well. Passing the GOP debt ceiling bill would be equally disastrous as a default. Bernie Sanders says he is joining 10 of his Democratic colleagues in urging Biden to bypass Congress and permanently solve the crisis. So he wants President Biden to bypass Congress and permanently solve the crisis. How can this be done? I'm actually going to play you the video clip of Bernie Sanders in a moment. Let me just give you the quick update of what's going on with the debt ceiling, and then I'll let you know what Bernie Sanders says about permanently solving it. So Biden says Republican debt ceiling offer unacceptable to talk with McCarthy. So today, Sunday, President Biden had a meeting with Republicans. So President Joe Biden on Sunday called Republicans' latest offers in talks on lifting the government's debt ceiling unacceptable, but said he would be willing to cut spending with tax adjustments to reach a deal. So President Biden is in Hiroshima, Japan right now for with the G7 leaders, and basically what he said here is much of what they already proposed is simply, quite frankly, unacceptable. It's time for Republicans to accept that there is no bipartisan deal to be made solely on their partisan terms. They have to move as well. What does Kevin McCarthy have to say about this, representing the Republican part of this deal before we hit the debt ceiling crisis? He says, unfortunately, the White House moved backwards. So it looks like almost no progress has been made, besides that they're talking about it. But even though they're talking about it, no progress has been made when it comes to this debt ceiling, and we're just about a week away from the deadline, which could cause it would be a historical American moment to have the debt crisis. It would just cause a domino effect of really bad things to happen. But I've given you a lot from the Republican perspective over the past few videos. Let me give you the Democrat perspective from Bernie Sanders and what his solution is.
Let me begin by thanking the 11 United States senators who have signed a letter to the president urging him to use the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, if necessary, in order to prevent a default on our national debt. And those signers are Tina Smith, Elizabeth Warren, Jeff Merkley, Ed Markey, Mazie Hirono, Peter Welch, Dick Blumenthal, Jack Reed, Sheldon Whitehouse, and John Fetterman. Throughout the history of our country, the United States government has done what it is supposed to do. Not too surprisingly, we pay our debts. That's what we have always done. In fact, over the past 63 years, the national debt limit has been raised nearly 80 times. 49 times when a Republican has been president, and 29 times when a Democrat has been president. The debt ceiling was raised 18 times under President Ronald Reagan, 7 times under President George W. Bush, and 3 times under President Donald Trump, when the national debt increased by some $8 trillion, with no strings attached. Bottom line, we pay our debt. That is what a major country does, the largest economy in the world. We pay our debts. And let's be clear, what the debt ceiling is about is paying money that has already been appropriated and spent. It has nothing to do with future budgets and future spending. You could debate that. This is simply a question of paying off what has already been spent. However, in an unprecedented and outrageous way, extreme right-wing Republicans have hijacked the debt ceiling process and have said to the American people, if we don't get our way and impose savage cuts on the needs of working families, the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor. If you don't do what we demand that you do, we are prepared to allow the United States government to default and bring our economy and the world's economy into turmoil. That's what the Republicans are essentially saying. If the right-wing Republicans force a default, it will mean the loss of millions of American jobs, interest rates on mortgages and credit cards will soar, and Americans will lose trillions of dollars in household wealth. As disastrous as it would be to default on our debt, it would be equally disastrous to pass the outrageous Republican proposals. Under their proposals, it has been estimated that up to 21 million Americans would lose Medicaid, ripping away the health care they need to stay alive. Over 1 million women, infants, and children would not receive the nutrition they need to stay healthy through the WIC program. Nutrition services, such as Meals on Wheels, would be cut for more than 1 million low-income senior citizens in this country. Over 640,000 families would lose access to rental assistance, and more than 400,000 low-income families would be evicted from Section 8 housing. 200,000 children would be thrown off of Head Start, and 180,000 kids would lose access to child care. 80,000 jobs would be cut at the VA alone, impacting the quality of care we provide to the men and women who put their lives on the line to defend us. All of this is absolutely unacceptable. Meanwhile, while imposing draconian cuts on some of the most desperate people in this country, the Republicans are refusing to ask the wealthiest people in America, the people who have never, ever had it so good, to pay 1 nickel more in taxes to start paying their fair share of taxes. Further, they are refusing to cut defense spending at a time when we already spend more on defense than the next 10 nations combined. And they have made it clear that they are prepared to hold our entire economy hostage unless the president gives in to all of their demands. And this is something we cannot accept. In my view, and the view of all of us up here, the president has the authority and the responsibility under the Constitution to make sure that we continue to pay our bills. In fact, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution clearly states, quote, it's not ambiguous, the validity of the public debt of the United States shall not be questioned, end quote. Is this a perfect solution? Is imposing the 14th Amendment a perfect solution? No, it is not. But using the 14th Amendment would allow the United States to continue to pay its bills on time and without delay, prevent an economic catastrophe, and prevent devastating cuts to some of the most vulnerable people in this country. It should be exercised if necessary.
What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders? Agree, disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. That is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day, and I am going to be telling you that you always need to have fun at the playground or at anything. You need to have fun with yourself and enjoy yourself how you are right now, because the day after it won't be around, so you have to enjoy the day first. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So Bella had her piano recital yesterday, and Kalea had a singing recital. So proud of them, so cool. So I think this video is running a little too long now, but I'm going to play you the actual clip. Actually, you know what? I think we're gonna put it on Bella's YouTube channel in the next day or so. So I'll link to that, but here's just a quick little clip of it, of Bella playing the piano. Did really well. She's been practicing it, got to perform. So it was so cool to see that, but I'll give you the actual clips soon once it's on Bella's channel. But anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, or if you want, actually, why don't you go check out Bella's YouTube channel? You could click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.